You recently released a music video. Mr. Grizzly Sips His Milk, or his mother's milk?
Mr. Grizzly Sips His Milk.
Mr. Grizzly Sips His Milk.
Which might be from a mother, or maybe not.
We don't know.
I think the viewer would have to figure that out for themselves.
Okay. I don't want to get too far into what's going on with the video because I think people should check it out. What was there any conceptual idea behind that you were wanting to express, or do you want that to remain a mystery?
I wouldn't say that I intentionally want it to be a mystery, but it's kind of like, I think the idea just comes like a dream does, where it's somewhere in here and there, and then it comes out, and so it delivers a feeling, but then each person will kind of respond and add to that feeling in a different way.
I definitely enjoyed it. I thought there is some creative imagery behind it. In particular, it looks like you do want to dabble in film more. What are are there certain directors that have kind of for you at least, kind of paved a creative path?
Mm-hmm.
I
was finishing that bite.
Oh no, you're good. What are some of those what? Give me an example of someone that you would deem an influence on your material.
I like the work of Alejandro Jodorowsky, and I like how he uses art, or the things that are called art, to create an experience that kind of I think there's usually a separation between our conscious and unconscious minds, and what I like about his art and other art is where that wall between the conscious and unconscious mind is opened up or dissolved, and then all the things that come out in dreams are allowed to come out, and usually those things are a part of yourself that you might feel a strong response to, but you won't, at least not initially, know how to rationally interpret it. And I think in daily life, since it doesn't make rational sense, it just kind of stays in the unconscious. But then if it comes out and you just kind of sit with not knowing what the hell that is,
yeah.
I think it can have a positive, expansive effect on the imagination and just a sense of who you are and what life is.
Well, what do you think it is? Do you think it's the fact of kind of being self-aware that not everything needs a mental resolution? Or because some people honestly don't see, they see something, there's no definitive resolution, it's immediately trash.
I think when we're all interpreting the mind through thought, then our thought will just naturally have thinking patterns that come from experience, family, culture, whatever happened to us, everything. And I think our thought will align on these certain patterns that just repeat themselves, and maybe some of those patterns we know, some we don't. And then our experiences will just be filtered through that kind of funnel of our thought patterns. And then when something doesn't make sense, those thought patterns can't fit it into that structure. So then if I open up to something that doesn't make sense, it usually comes with a sense of freedom and wonder, because it's something new and I'm being temporarily liberated from my patterns, some of which I feel stuck in.
I think that kind of does hit on a lot of what I enjoyed when I was personally at the late years of high school, just kind of sipping through Alejandro Jodorowsky's Holy Mountain, Fondo y Liz. He just has a lot of sheer just the imagery of the scenes, or I don't know, it kind of just makes you draw towards that. Was there a specific scene, not particularly of Alejandro's, but of any specific piece of material that you saw and was like, that's the moment you thought, wow, I should probably try and re-express this?
There wasn't, I think it was like every scene in his works, but there wasn't a scene that I wanted to re-express. There was when I watched it, I had that like strong, palpable experience of like just having my reality totally discombobulated and like disassembled. And it was that I've experienced it like in life experiences, but also in other art and music, whatever. And I'm constantly attracted to that experience and like finding it, but also creating it for myself and gently imposing it on others through performance if they seem open to it.
For sure. Let's kind of move on towards your new material. I believe Potatorotica is a new LP. Is that correct?
Yeah, Potatorotica.
Potatorotica. Give me, what's the synopsis on this?
It was, I think, just over a year ago. I was performing a new song that didn't have a title. I just took it to an open mic. And before I performed the song, I asked the crowd if they could suggest one-word titles by just shouting out one word. And some guy shouted out potato. And then I thought, oh, that's actually just intuitively, it seemed perfect for the song. And then since that time, like I've just been fixated on potatoes and music.
Many people are.
Not really for eating. Almost like if the potato, like if you imagine that foods have a spirit or personality, and if you imagine that, then they could also like possess you or like inhabit your mind.
Okay. Are they daughters or sons of plants? Or is that already too much? Are we trying to define too much?
I think it's just like a thought experiment. Like the human mind will.
I 100% believe plants have some kind of soul.
Sure, yeah. So like if you think, to give an example, if you think of a potato, I see it as being like a neutral, kind of humble, peaceful, malleable personality, whereas like an orange will be like really bright and zesty, like someone who is sunshine. And so for Potatorotica, in here, I've been imagining it as being like a sound experience that is the result of channeling that potato entity and allowing that to like come through. So there's like an opening message of the potato's message.
Okay. Do we have any? We got Mr. Grizzly Sips His Milk. Are we looking at any other music videos possibly coming out through Potatorotica?
I think the next one will be for the song Potato.
Potato. Is that the single?
It's a single. There's a few singles.
Okay. So the new music video, Potato, is there a concept video to it yet? Is there any kind of storyboard, anything? No?
When I shoot a video, I love improvisation in any medium. So with video, I'll just collect footage of two different things. Some will just be carrying my camera around and then recording something if I'm attracted to it. And another will be if there's like an image that just comes into my mind. Usually an image that doesn't make rational sense. Just like the same way dreams come to you, but in this case, it's just an image that comes when you're awake.
Do you dream a lot?
Yeah,
I never dream. I never dream.
What? Do you know why you never dream? have a guess?
I have reasons to believe why, but nothing I want to get into.
Right.
But does dream play, in your experience, have a lot to do with your creative medium? Or do you really not even think about it?
I think to me, my dreams are like the art of the unconscious, that almost like if the unconscious feels like another person that just lives inside of me, that I have conversations with, so the dreams are just like almost like videos or experiences that it creates for me, and will show me. It's almost like my unconscious knows more about me than I know. So then dreams are like where it like gives me small dosages of things it would find useful for me to know. And so usually it's something I don't know what to make sense of. But then it'll just like, some dreams will just like stick in my mind, and then different things throughout the day will like relate to that dream.
Okay.
Almost like it just trickles in small insights throughout the day.
I always had this really weird, like, it was weird because of how abnormally normal it was, but my dreams, I would just dream of like talking to a person I would talk to any day, like my mom, and having a regular conversation with her. And like the only reason I knew it wasn't real is I would wake up and like not be able to distinguish, but after enough time had elapsed and I talked to her or that person enough, I realized we never had this conversation. I don't. There's nothing. Do you have anything to say to that?
I'd be curious. Do you ever have dreams like where, like a dream that leaves like a huge, like palpable, like you can't get it out of your head?
There are times when I do dream that are extremely powerful, because it's like the one time I've dreamed, I think I've attained that REM sleep to have that dream. And so what I hear is when you're a person that doesn't dream often, when you do have a dream, it's a lot more powerful, just because a lot of that REM, whatever that chemical is, accumulates. It's not like distributed. It does like accumulate until it gets used. And I have heard this by multiple neurologists, so I think they're on something, because when I do dream, it's pretty chaotic. It's pretty like universe parting kind of stuff. I don't know if that answers that question.
When you say universe parting, for those dreams, is it something that like is disruptive to your normal perception?
The sheer last memory of something to this like extent I had was it was a bunch of people, family, friends, community, in these like public showers, and the public showers are extremely wide, and there's like a field in between it because that's how wide they are. And anyways,
in the showers or between the showers?
Yeah, it's just like a almost a football field sized field, just with showers on the edge of it and people like showering. But a tornado like killed everybody. I mean, it just like we all like flew up in the air. It was like a rapture.
All right. Do you want, like, could we get into that a little bit? Just for fun?
That's when I woke up, is when I got like taken into the sky.
So I used to have a roommate, and we both were super into dreams, and she was also a friend. So like usually if we had breakfast together at the same time, we would talk about our dreams. And the process I used was first the dreamer, whoever had the dream, would like say what happened in the dream, and then just say like whatever response they had, whether like they had a feeling response or a thought response. And then after hearing the dreamer's response, then the other person would give their outside perspective. Mm-hmm. So like what thoughts or feelings, responses did you have to that dream? Or what do you have to it right now?
I'm a person that doesn't like to dissect dreams. I just like to like have them and be like, what the hell was that? And I appreciate it for what it was. I feel like if I dissect it, I start getting into areas where after a while I'm like, was that that? Was that that? And like, I just don't want to tailspin it into, I don't want to think it's this, because it could be anything, you know. There's a couple of other things I want to hit about this ball coming up. Well, when you hear surrealist ball, what do you think of? Like, what does that make you? Because a lot of people don't even know what a surrealist ball is, and I honestly am not the most informed.
Well, when I think of surrealism, I think for me, surrealism is like dreams, where it still feels like reality, but with a slight distortion, where like it's more slippery and meaning is more intangible, and like new phenomena starts to slip in and perception is looser.
That's exactly what we're trying to create, at the very least. I hope that we can do that, and I hope that you guys will come up. This is Ben Jon. He's the very first act of the Inside Stage. Starts at 8:30. We'll hope to see you there. All right. So, Ben Jon, where can they reach you at?
My main hub is benjonmiller.com. It's benjonmiller.com. And there's links to Instagram, Spotify, video, all that stuff on there.
Awesome, man. Good talking. See y'all.